YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some 2020 NFL playoff and Super Bowl predictions made by you guys. Over the last several weeks on Twitter, I've been posting polls. You guys have been voting for who wins each division, who gets what seed, who wins each round of the playoffs, and who wins the Super Bowl. We're finally finished with it. And now we're going to take a look at what most of you guys decided here. Really enjoyed this one for sure because I like, seeing more than one person's opinion, a collection of people creating this, and it's pretty cool to see. Another reason I like it, I don't really get ripped in the comments for this one because I didn't make it. You guys made it, so you guys can get mad at each other there. So before we get started, you can check out our Twitter. We're going to be posting more polls for future videos involving you guys. So if you missed out on this one, you won't miss out on the future if you go follow, turn notifications on. Always talking football on there as well. Appreciate the support. We got the 50K recently on this channel, trying to match that on the second channel, and we're going to continue to grind, continue to grow here thanks to you guys. We have a podcast. Link down below in every single video, description, comments for any of these pages that you need here. But on to what you guys decided for this upcoming season, the AFC playoff teams. We're going to go 1 through 7. This is what you guys voted for. So the 1 seed was the Chiefs, so no surprise there. You voted the defending Super Bowl champions as the 1 seed. At 2, you guys went with the Baltimore Ravens. So once again, really no surprise. The Chiefs and the Ravens seem to be the favorites at the top here. But every year ends up being somewhat surprising. Change happens. So you never know. You never know what could happen here. But these two teams, I would agree, do feel like the top 2 teams. The 3 seed was a battle between these next 2 teams here, and that's the Bills gets number 3, close call over the number 4 seed, the AFC South winners, according to you guys, the Tennessee Titans. So you guys voted for each of those teams to win their divisions and get those seeds. Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Titans. The same top 4 that I had, a little different order. But, nothing you really – I don't think anything you really can complain about. I mean, even if you think – maybe the Steelers can pull off their division there with the Ravens, the AFC North, or maybe you think the Colts can pull it off over the Titans or the Texans possibly. Even if you think that, there's nothing wild here. Definitely very realistic that you guys voted for here. Number 5 is going to be, it was a close call, but the Broncos got the 5th seed. I've been kind of talking about the Broncos, thought people were kind of sleeping on them, but now I think the whole world's kind of realizing it's a pretty good team. Vic Fangio's second year, really good pass rush, some big-time playmakers on defense and offense. Drew Lock's second year, and big-time playmakers to add in the receiver unit, the running back unit over this offseason, whether it's free agency, the draft. Just kind of banking on, Drew Lock stepping up, maybe the offensive line improving a little bit, staying healthy. You guys voted them 5. Close call between the second place out of the AFC North, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you guys voted them 6. I think we all expect their defense to be pretty damn solid. The question is, Big Ben, James Conner, can those guys stay healthy? Receiver unit's looking good. Where's the offensive line at? I don't think it'll fail them, but I'm not saying that at all. But maybe it's not quite as good as it once was. So can Big Ben, James Conner stay healthy? I sure hope so. But if they can, then maybe better than the 6th seed if they're fully healthy all year. So definitely a really good team, definitely a sneaky team. And then the 7th seed, you guys voted for the Indianapolis Colts, who now have Phillip Rivers behind a really good offensive line there. And a very young and improving defense, especially adding DeForest Buckner. So I actually had the same 7 AFC teams in my playoff predictions video, which I did recently. You can go check that out. And I did mention in that video that I thought the AFC was kind of clear cut. I'm not saying these are guaranteed to be the 7 teams, but it looks like you guys have the same 7 teams, and it's a pretty similar format here, similar order, seedings. I think we're all on the same page there. So we will see who you guys had winning each round of the AFC. But first, let's take a look at these NFC playoff teams voted by you guys. Coming in at the 1 seed here, we got the New Orleans Saints winning the NFC South. We have a battle between the Saints and the Buccaneers. I actually had the Buccaneers. I'm kind of on that hype train, but mainly not because the hype, mainly because the team itself is a very good and improving team, well coached as well. But the Saints, year in, year out, very consistent. I mean, the definition of consistency. Very impressive what they're able to do by keeping the same players around for the most part. So yeah, would not be a surprise at all, even if you're kind of believing in the Bucks. If the Saints got the 1 seed, not surprising. Definitely realistic there. The 2 seed is the 49ers for you guys. So there are a group of people out there that think the Niners could take a step down. Last year playing a weaker schedule. People didn't really know what to expect, hard to game plan for, and some people think they got tougher schedule now. Pretty much the only tough schedule, I think, in that division this year. The rest of the division pretty easy, in my opinion. But yeah, people think they could take that step down. There's really nothing that supports that other than, well, they do have some injury concerns. We've seen guys get beat up, and they were still able to win. So maybe the injuries can catch up with them. Maybe people can figure out a game plan against Shanahan. Maybe they learned something from watching them or playing them one time around. Let's see, 2 time around. Maybe Garoppolo. He definitely needs to step up a little bit. So those, I can understand the people that make that case, but there's not a whole bunch to support that. Very good, young, balanced team, and most of you guys tend to agree with that statement right there, putting them at number 2 seed. Number 3 seed is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. It was an absolute battle for the 3-4 as well. I think a last-second surge for the Eagles to get that 3 seed over the Minnesota Vikings, the 4 seed. So yeah, these are your division winners. The battle to win the NFC North. Most of you voted for the Vikings there, but definitely that division's for sure up in the air. Actually kind of going back, the Eagles-Cowboys battle in the NFC East, there was actually a tie in the poll. I had to repost it with just the Eagles and the Cowboys, and the Eagles kind of it wasn't super close the next time around. You took the voters away from the Giants and the Redskins, the people that are probably fans of those teams. They went and voted for the Eagles there. So that was actually a close call. So then the Vikings sneak in the NFC North, which again is up in the air. You would think the Packers may be the favorites after winning last year. The Bears can be very sneaky, and I like the Lions roster a lot. It's just about staying healthy and consistent down the stretch. For the 5 seed, you guys voted for, not really a surprise here, the Buccaneers. That battle between the Saints and the Bucks for that NFC South title. So wonder if the Bucks, if you guys would have voted for the Bucks to win that division, would they have the 1 seed? Would they have the 2 seed? Where would they be there? But they do get the best wild card slots there at 5. So nothing surprising. 6 is going to be the Seahawks. It's weird seeing the number 6 next to the Seahawks. Because it's a very good team, especially at Russell Wilson. And I actually had them at 6 as well, but it's a battle between them and the Niners, which was for you guys as well. So it's pretty interesting. Shows, to see where the Saints and the Bucks are at, and you see where the Niners and the Seahawks are at. Those are some really good divisions there. Some really top tier teams potentially, even if they're the lower seed. See the Bucks 5, Seahawks 6. Wouldn't be surprising if those teams actually finish there, but finish went further than those teams that won their division when they didn't. So that's going to be very interesting from the NFC. And the 7th seed, it's going to be the Green Bay Packers here, to finish off the playoffs. So the second NFC North team here. So the Cowboys miss out. Other NFC North teams like the Bears miss out. The Cardinals were pretty darn close as well. And I'm kind of thinking the Cardinals can be a sneaky team as well because an improving team, hard to game plan against, and an easier schedule. So that's definitely a team that can sneak in. So those are your 7 playoff teams that you guys voted for. Now we see round by round, the wild card round, which is new this year. We get to see a whole bunch of football. So here's the AFC side. It was 2 versus 7. You guys picked the Ravens to win that one. It was a landslide victory in terms of the voting. You guys had the Bills over the Steelers, and that was actually a very tight one. It looked like the Steelers were going to win that one for a little bit, but you have the Bills. And then you had the Titans over the Broncos, another very tight one too. So you had all the better seeds win in the AFC. The Titans-Broncos actually play each other week 1 of the NFL season. It's a Monday night game, the last game of week 1 in Denver. I'm excited to see that one, actually. But this would be a really good matchup. And you see the running attack of these two teams. They're both going to throw in a little play action for their passing game. And their defense, very good at stopping the run on top of the offense is being very good at running. So this would be a really good matchup. Yeah, I would pretty much agree with this across the board. The Steelers could be pretty sneaky the Broncos could be as well. Steelers could be pretty sneaky on the Bills, but you guys had the better seeds winning there. From the NFC, a little different. 2 beat 7, so the Niners beat the Packers twice last year, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs, and they would play them twice in this scenario again because they played them in the regular season in San Francisco. prime time, and they would play them again here in the playoffs in San Francisco. So that'd be a tough draw for the Packers to play them in this scenario. That would mean 4 times in 2 years, all in San Francisco, all prime time. Pretty ridiculous. So you did have the better seed winning there, but now we flip it a little bit here. The Eagles, the 3 seed, and the Seahawks, the 6. You guys had the Seahawks winning. And those teams faced each other twice last year. Both final score 17-7, actually. And now they'd be facing each other twice again this year. So in this scenario. So, yeah, nothing surprising, even though it's 6-3, because you guys had the Eagles barely squeaking in because of that division over the Cowboys, even though I think that division could be better than people think. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles will probably be better than people think. That's my opinion. I actually had them both making the playoffs. But the Seahawks over them, yeah, not really surprised. Both teams about staying healthy. The Eagles more importantly because we've seen them get beat up over the past in important positions last couple years. Seahawks last year, I think the Seahawks had a legit chance to go pretty far, maybe even Super Bowl far. But they were kind of beat up, in some rough spots. Mainly Chris Carson, but Dwayne Brown was beat up as well. Some other guys in and out for sure. And they had to battle the Packers there after they beat the Eagles in the first round. So if healthy, yeah, Russell Wilson and that team could lead them past. And then, yeah, another upset in terms of the seeding, but not really surprising. The Buccaneers over the Vikings. The Vikings squeak in as the last division winner. And then the Buccaneers really only behind them on seed because you would think because the Saints were just that good and got the 1 seed. So that kind of makes sense, the Buccaneers, especially at this point of the season. I guess the side for the Vikings, it is very tough to play the Vikings at U.S. Bank, one of the tougher places to play. So maybe that's the side for the Vikings. And they do have a good team, do have playmakers. But the Buccaneers, you would think they got to really be heating up by this point. All those new faces, but veteran new guys, Tom Brady leading the way. They're getting better and better as long as their healthy season goes on. So this would be a very tough matchup for the Vikings there. They do play in the regular season as well towards the end. So very interesting. So, yeah, even though a couple upsets in terms of the number next to their name, the seed, not really surprising and very realistic. Moving on to the next AFC round, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. The rematch of the Chiefs-Titans, and you guys picked the Chiefs, so not surprising there. Kind of backtrack to last year. I talked about this in my playoff predictions video as well. The Titans, kind of failed to convert. The first drive was dominant. They ended up getting a field goal. It turned that into a touchdown, which you kind of expected, which could have been done. And they failed to convert a 3rd and short, which really changed the game. But really, so those things were pretty close to being turned around. But then if you look at the pass rush, it was non-existent for the Titans. Harold Landry, another year. They expect to get some pass rush from a guy like Jeffrey Simmons from the D-line. Now they add Vic Beasley. Could they add somebody else through the late free agency? Possibly. Maybe they get enough because the pass rush was non-existent. So if they kind of turn around those very close moments offensively and then get a little pass rush, maybe they could beat them this time around. Maybe. I understand the Chiefs pick, and that was my pick as well. But I'm just kind of giving these teams a chance because they do have a chance. Ravens over the Bills. You guys picked the Ravens. No surprise. The Bills actually could be a pretty good matchup against the Ravens. It could be a bad matchup for the Ravens. The Bills with a pretty balanced defense. I think they'll be able to game plan and kind of contain Lamar Jackson. I think that's very possible for them. I don't know if Lamar will be able to throw downfield. I mean, he can, but not a whole bunch and successfully against that Bills secondary. I think the way that Bills the defense is built is really to play the Ravens. I think the Bills. They'll be getting interior pressure, which is good against them. They could get a little more outside pressure. If you had to kind of split hairs, find something that the Bills can be better at, it could be the outside pressure, even though those guys are very, very good at containing. Outside pressure really doesn't beat Lamar Jackson, kind of interior and playing, containing him and playing very well in the secondary. And that's everything the Bills do at a high level. So the Bills could be the matchup favorites in this game. But even if you are the matchup favorites, it's still another task to actually stop Lamar Jackson and that running attack, even the passing attack. And then you have their defense. It's probably be a low-scoring game. But I would agree with the Ravens. But that could be an interesting one as well. Looking at the NFC, a little different. See 1 versus 6. You see 2 versus 5. But you guys picked the better seeds here. Saints over the Seahawks at this point would be a heck of a game. If both teams are healthy, especially Drew Brees versus Russell Wilson. Both teams will definitely be able to score. I think it'll be, whatever defense makes that extra play. That's definitely what it would be in this game. Probably a very low amount of turnovers, maybe none, maybe one in this game, and I think that defense that gets that turnover will win that game. I'm kind of looking at the pass rush between these two teams. Seahawks without Jadeveon Clowney, can the Saints pass rush be healthy at this point? But you expect a guy like Cam Jordan for sure be, and that really could be the difference maker in this game. Or it could be just whoever outduels the other one, Drew Brees versus Russell Wilson. You guys went with the Saints, the Niners versus the Buccaneers. You guys picked the Niners here. The side for the Niners, maybe to argue their side, the pass rush, just too much for Tom Brady, not be able to move. He's never one that was able to move around a whole bunch, but maybe not been able to move as much as he used to be able to. And the Buccaneers pass protection has struggled a little bit in the past, but I think some young guys kind of stepping up. They add Tristan Wirfs, and just having Brady with the adjustments in general makes them better. So I would kind of disagree with the people that say that their offensive line, is on the bad side. It definitely could cost them in a game like this, though, that's for sure. But this would definitely be a battle, this game. You guys went with the Niners in that one. So we're on to the conference championship games that you guys voted for. You had 1/2 and 1/2. Not really surprising, because the people that voted were probably the same people. So people that voted for the 1 seed teams, though, they think that team's the best, and then they think they'll continue to be the best. Sometimes that always doesn't happen. Sometimes there's a difference between regular season teams and playoff teams, and then health, kind of changes things as well, which is like pretty much unpredictable. Chiefs over Ravens, you guys predicted. No surprise. The Ravens, I talked about this, if the Ravens just got the chance to play the Chiefs, got past the Titans or didn't have to play the Titans, things could have been different. It definitely could have been different. The Ravens could have been a bad matchup. I think an extremely high-scoring game. You guys went with the Chiefs. Saints, 49ers, rematch from maybe the best game from the regular season last year, and you guys picked the Saints, so the Niners won't be able to. That would have been wild if you guys picked the Chiefs and the Niners would have been the same exact Super Bowls last year. In a way, I'm kind of glad we didn't end up with that, because even though two very good teams, you can argue the two top teams in football, most likely, we just won't see the same exact matchup there. So you guys chose Chiefs and Saints for Super Bowl 55. That's what you guys voted for. Appreciate anyone who voted, but good matchup here. Good matchup, and the game is in Tampa Bay. Maybe the Saints a little used to playing against their division rival there. That stadium, maybe it almost feel kind of like home to them. Maybe, just maybe. But Chiefs Saints, you would think it would be a shootout in this game. For me, yeah, you could definitely see the shootout. For me, I'm looking at both defenses. And I think the Chiefs' defense, I think they're pretty similar defenses, how they match up. They're pretty balanced. They both can provide pass rush. Chiefs' defense getting better and better. I think it's very underrated. Just switching to a 4-3 last year. Some players coming back, missing, some of the, Juan Thornhill, guys like that. Breeland Speaks coming back. Frank Clark kind of getting going, later in the season as well. I think the Chiefs, extra pass rush in a game like this could be the difference maker, along with their top-tier offense. So, I would agree with you guys when you picked the Chiefs. You guys voted for the Chiefs to win Super Bowl 55. I would agree with this pick. But the beauty of the NFL, a lot of change happens every single year. Based on, I guess, team schedules are different, and, see how many close games just could have went another way. You kind of look back to last year. They could be different. Those close games could be different teams. They go a different outcome. So that's the beauty of the NFL, really. Very close to unpredictable. So I'm very excited. Hopefully we get it starting on time. That would be fantastic. But thank you guys for voting, and that was a lot of fun making this video. Love to see what everyone votes for. It's always interesting. So yeah, you guys can kind of get mad at each other in the comments instead of me this time too. So we'll see what you guys have to say. Appreciate everyone. Please subscribe to both channels. Follow that Twitter. You'll be able to vote for future content within videos, of course. So you're going to want to follow there, turn notifications on the YouTube channel and on Twitter. That's going to do it, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.